Hello everyone, welcome to Noodle Journey. If you watched my last episode, it shouldn't surprise you that today's review will be Itsuki's Hakata Osshoi Tonkotsu Ramen. Yes, my willpower is weak. I reviewed Itsuki's Yuzushio variety in the last episode, and I brought this package out as a prop to show you how the servings per package differ, and yeah, it was just there staring at me, begging to be eaten. So here we are, back-to-back reviews of Itsuki products. I talked about Itsuki as a company in the last video, so go watch that for more info. What we've got here this time is a Hakata-style tonkatsu broth, which I believe is the same style as Ichiran that I reviewed back in episode 19. But since I didn't get into it in that review, let's break down what Hakata style means. We know by now that tonkatsu is a yummy pork bone-based broth, but according to Wikipedia, the term Hakata refers to tonkatsu ramen specifically from Fukuoka, which was historically known as Hakata for centuries. So calling this particular soup Hakata Tonkatsu is actually kind of redundant. Pretty interesting. The Hakata style of ramen is to use a very rich, oily, milky pork bone broth with a non-fried, floury textured noodle. This is supposedly the most intensely pork flavored of all the tonkatsu varieties. Sounds heavenly. Aside from that, according to this blurb up here that I translated and then did a deep dive on, the word Osshoi in the product name refers to a festival in Fukuoka called Hakata Gion Yamakasa, in which the participants shout Osshoi as a brave cheer. So that's where the name of this product comes from, if you care. Let's talk about pricing and ingredients. This was $2.99 at my local Asian grocery store, and this contains one serving inside. So it's into that premium price range, but not terribly so. If you're looking to buy this online, check out yamibuy.com to see if it's in stock. You can also buy it from Amazon Marketplace sellers, but they will likely charge you more, sometimes a lot more. I would very much recommend checking your local Asian grocery store first to see if they stock this. Now, here's where things get a little tricky because I have to rely on a combination of Google Lens and this English label to know what's in this. The English label does not list the sodium, but up here is what translates to salt equivalent, which is 6.3 grams. Now, thanks to some research I did online, I learned you can convert this unit of measurement, salt equivalent, to sodium by dividing it by 2.54. So that means this pack has 2,480 milligrams of sodium, which is a smidge over 100% of your daily allowance. And now that we're done with the tricky part, here's where things get interesting and potentially misleading. All that talk before about rich, oily pork broth, yeah, this is vegan. This little bit of text up here says that there is no meat, fish, or dairy in this, and that is produced only in the style of a tonkatsu broth. The English ingredients confirm this. So there are no animal products in this. Good news if you're a vegan. What is potentially misleading is that there are exports of this that contain meat extract. You can see them on Ramen Raider and other sites. So if you order this online and specifically want meat or no meat, do whatever you can to make sure the import label is accurate. Otherwise, this is a gamble and you should probably check and see what your local Asian store has instead. I can't imagine this is an American import issue because I've seen other Japanese manufactured ramen that contains pork. So I have no good explanation as to why this product exists in two forms. All right, enough of that. Vegan food is still damn good, so I'm not going to complain. Let's open this up. Inside, we've got the Hakata style straight noodles. Texture-wise, these feel very, very close to what I opened up from Ichiran way back when. We've got a dry soup packet and a seasoning oil packet. The ingredients in this are about what you should expect from an artificial tonkatsu. So salt, soy milk for thickness, powdered miso, and various spices. Plus there's sliced green onion in here, so I won't complain about that in the review this time. The oil appears to be a combination of rapeseed and sesame. Let's cook. And we're back. The instructions are in Japanese, but still easy enough to decipher if you can't use Google Lens. These noodles cook super fast. 1.5 minutes in 450 milliliters of water, And now we just need to add the soup base and the seasoning oil. Okay, pretty sure everything is very well mixed here. This smells pretty great. If you didn't know that this wasn't a pork bone broth, I think you'd be fooled. The thickness of the broth actually looks pretty authentic, even if it is soy milk and miso based. Let's taste. Wow. Okay. There is nothing spicy to report here. There is pepper listed in the ingredients, but based on what I taste, that means black pepper and not chili pepper. So this is perfectly mild, 0 out of 10 on the spice scale. And you can probably add your own chili pepper of choice if you want it spicy. I think that would go very well with this. These noodles are remarkably good. Thin, chewy, floury, really an extremely pleasurable mouthfeel. They actually remind me of Ichiran's noodles, which cost twice as much. These are great. I'm going to assume, in the absence of taking an actual food tour of Japan, that these are reasonably authentic to this ramen style. 10 out of 10 for the noodles. And now let's talk about the elephant in the room. The overall flavor of a premium vegan soup made to emulate a traditionally not vegan soup. And then first off, the texture. It is pretty accurate to a meat-based tonkatsu. The powdered soy milk and oils are creating a rich and downright luxuriant broth. The flavor here is what you would expect from a high-end tonkatsu, with a blend of onion, little ginger, sesame, some great soy sauce umami, and somehow through the magic of food chemistry, it has a strong meaty quality despite not actually having meat in here. It's astounding. Now, as to whether or not this is the equivalent of the rich, strong pork broth that is typical of the Hakata style, I don't have much to compare it to, really. And I've never been to Fukuoka. So, yes? Maybe? I don't really know. It is incredibly good, even if it might not hit that mark for those of you more familiar with Hakata ramen. On its own merits, putting aside whether it hits the goal of mimicking Hakata tonkatsu, this is a 10 out of 10 for me and is very highly recommended. Wow, after this showing, Itsuki is definitely a new favorite brand for me. The amount of flavor and texture in this bowl of noodles is incredible. And especially so when you consider it's a vegan broth that still feels like a super rich pork bone broth. I am amazed by the quality of this. Great broth, perfect noodles. This is awesome. If you're a vegan looking for a terrific tonkatsu ramen, please run out and buy this. If you're a devout carnivore, I promise if you close your eyes and eat this, you will enjoy it. Remember how I said back in the Ichiran video, every tonkatsu that comes after this I would have to compare? Well, let me just quickly compare this to Ichiran. Buy this, don't buy Ichiran. This is better in every way. Cheaper, the broth is just as tasty, the noodles are just as good, and there's no meat products in it. It's incredible. Let's take a break from Itsuki for now. I do have a couple more of their products left in my pile, and I will be sure to buy more of their stuff to review in the future. If you have a favorite vegan ramen, let's talk about it in the comments. Or maybe you've tried the version of this that has meat extract in it and can offer your opinion. I'd love to hear it. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you on the next episode of Noodle Journey.